Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto controls the ocean. One Piece Sasuke bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by QueenEioldd and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. People say fighting a god or a goddess is impossible and foolish. That they are literal gods, deities, divine beings of immense power. So, how could anyone beat them? However, there is one ninja that isn't called number one's most surprising shinobi for nothing. With the help of his comrades, they were able to do the impossible. Uzumaki and Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, and Hada Kakashi were facing the rabbit goddess. Princess Satsuki Kagaya, the mother of the Sage of Six Paths. It was not easy to defeat her, but they managed it. It took all four of them, and once it was finally over, the fourth shinobi war was won. Over the next few years, there was finally peace, and the circle of hate was no more. Naruto was next in line to be Hokage after Lord 6, Kakashi. Naruto was also engaged to Hyuga Hinata. Sakura was married to Sasuke and was the best medic ninja, and Sasuke, after receiving penance for his crimes, decided to stay in the village and become a shinobi again. It seemed like the end for Naruto and for a new generation to carry on the will of fire, but the end is only the beginning, and curiosity killed the cat, or should we say fox. Curiosity can be a deadly thing, too much, and it's a risk, too little, and it's a hindrance. The old idiom curiosity killed the cat means being inquisitive about other people's affairs. Personal possessions may get you into trouble. This should be taken into consideration when you go looking through old books or scrolls that belong to someone. Unfortunately, Naruto did not have that hindsight. After years of being alone, he never had anyone to tell him about hindsight. Due to his godlike luck or unluck, Naruto managed to find a handful of old jutsus that had not been heard of or were prohibited due to the chakra cost or physical toll. Naruto, excited to learn a new jutsu, looked through them. The archives had a lot of weird and astonishing things in the Hokage files. Among the piles of scrolls was one particular scroll that had a skull and crossbones mark in the middle of the unopened manuscript. Naruto picked it up and examined it, and upon inspection, found it quite fascinating. Being a Kenjutsu expert prodigy, Naruto could see the space and time seals around the mark. They were similar to the Horatian seal, but it was different and very intricate. However, some of the seals were smudged, and despite the clear sight not to read it, Naruto did. Unfortunately for a certain knuckle-brained idiot, Naruto used chakra to read the smudged words to see if that made it easier to read. Upon the use of chakra, the scroll activated and started to suck Naruto in. The Rakuten Kakashi walked in with the rest of Team 7 and Hinata as this was happening. Kakashi saw the scroll activate and pushed Sasuke, Sakura and Hinata behind him in a protective manner. Kakashi glanced towards Naruto, with pleading eyes, watching as Naruto got sucked into the scroll. Team 7 and Hinata cried out Naruto's name. Once he was gone, Sasuke ran towards the scroll as Sakura comforted Hinata. Kakashi shouts down the hall for the experts in Fuinjutsu. "It's not reactivating, Kakashi-sama," Sasuke says in a defeated tone. "No, Sasuke-kun. He's not gone, is he?" Sakura's eyes were pleading, begging Kami that this wasn't real. Hinata's breath hitched, she couldn't believe he was gone, she just couldn't. Kakashi shared the same expression. After everything, it is a rogue scroll that takes Naruto away from them. "It's not fair, after everything he has done for us, how is this fair?" Hinata cried out. She hoped Naruto would be alright wherever he went. The SEAL team came running into the Hokage's office and looked at the scroll Sasuke was holding. He stayed close by the scroll when they took it. He wanted to free Naruto because, after everything, Naruto was there for him. His first friend, his brother, was gone. Falling from the sky was never fun, especially when there was an ocean under one Uzumaki Naruto. Lucky for him, there was a ship passing the area and the lookout seemed to have spotted him. "Garp-san, there's something falling from the sky." "Huh, are you sure you're not seeing things, Boggart?" "I'm sure, Garp-san, looks like a person. Should we help them? We're Marines." "So, is that a yes?" "Of course, it's a yes, Boggart." Naruto fell into the water with a loud splash. He tried to use chakra, but for some reason, it was challenging. He could feel someone saving him, so he let himself go unconscious so he could talk to Kurama. Waking up in the sewers wasn't a pleasant sight, but he had gotten used to it over the years, so he turned to look at the nine-tailed fox Kurama. When he did, he was in shock. Kurama was behind the seal again. Naruto ran towards the cage and called out to Kurama, who was waking up. "Kurama, what's going on? Are you alright? What's happened? Why is the seal up? How?" "Quit spouting questions, kid." Kurama sighed heavily. "No, I don't know what's going on. I'm alright, but I don't know what happened. I don't know how or why the seal is up, and no, I don't know why you are a 12-year-old again. Is that everything?" "Wow, you know me very well, partner." "Yeah, that's about it. Do you want me to take the seal away?" Naruto was ready to remove it until he realized he didn't have the key anymore and got angry. Oh, come on. That's not fair, why don't I have the key? Arg, I'll rip it. Kid, stop. If you don't have the key, my chakra could hurt you. I'll be. But that's not fair. You are my friend and partner. Naruto is overwhelmed with emotions and seeing Kurama like this isn't fair in his opinion. After everything, how is this fair? Kurama realized why Naruto is upset. He uses one of his tails to pick him up and give him some comfort. Just because I'm locked in this cage doesn't mean I can't help you. If we try the chakra tugs, your father or mother might show up and give you the key. It's a thought. It's going to be okay, kid. Naruto just nodded. After everything, Kurama understands and respects Naruto, so seeing his kid so upset about his predicament was heartwarming. Okay, Kurama. But do we have to chakra tug? You're my friend, I don't want to fight you. Naruto exclaimed. Kurama signed. Of course, Naruto didn't want to fight, they are friends now. You could try and take the seal off and see if that old man of yours shows up, but I don't want you to get hurt by my poisonous chakra. Kurama takes a deep breath, then lifts Naruto to the seal. Be careful, kid, don't be consumed by it. Thank you, Kurama, let's go. Naruto starts to rip the seal off only to have someone grab his hand. Kurama signs in relief and lowers Naruto to talk to the yondaime, Namikaze Minato. You came? Look, I accidentally opened a scroll in the Hokage's office and it transported me somewhere and I'm 12 years old again too, San, please help us. Naruto exclaims as Minato looks between Naruto and Kurama. So, we've met before then? Yeah, could you give me the key? I don't know if I can use summoning, please, I don't want Kurama stuck in that cage any longer than he needs to be. It's unfair to him. Minato looks at the Kyuubi in shock. Does it have a name? Kushina never mentioned that to him, but to be fair, Jinchurikis don't normally befriend the Bijus. Though seeing that Naruto made friends with the Kyuubi, no Kitsune brings a smile to Minato's face and heart. Alright, I'm sure the Kyu. His name is Kurama, too, San. Not Kyuubi no Kitsune, Naruto exclaims vehemently. Gomen, I'm sure Kurama can teach you ninjutsu in this new world after you wake up. I can leave some scrolls for you, that is if you want the Hiraishin and other jutsus. Arigato, Tusan. And for what it's worth, thank you for giving me Kurama. Kurama looks at Naruto with soft eyes and he's also glad he got stuck with this stubborn kid. He watches Minato unlock the cage. As he does, another figure appears next to Minato, Uzumaki Kushina, the second Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Minato, is it you? Kushina moves towards him and then engulfs him in a hug. Kurama watches Naruto's eyes widen, he smirks and pushes his kit with his tail towards the pair. Oh, you don't have long with them. Make it count, kid. Naruto's eyes widen as he looks at Kurama before nodding and rushing over to Minato and Kushina. He jumps into the hug and starts to cry a little, and this is a dream come true for him. Ah-san, Tusan Hisashiburi, Naruto says with a sad but bright smile. While Naruto is talking to his parents in the mindscape, his body is being looked at by marine doctors. They were unsure as to how Naruto arrived in the middle of the sea and why he wasn't waking up yet. Bogard watched over the kid while Garp, his superior, was looking after the ship. The kid seems to be around 10 to 14 years old. Bogard, any idea where he came from? The doctor asked while making sure to record the kid's vitals. No, he was just falling from the sky. I was on watch when I noticed him, he seemed awake when I was trying to pull him out, but now I'm not too sure. Bogard was worried, where was the kid's family and why had he fallen from the sky? Bogard took a deep breath to try and relax. This is almost as bad as one of Garp's training whims. I swear I pity his grandchildren. Do you think we could sneak them onto the ship for an hour so we can give them a proper checkup? Bogard asked the doctor in a defeated tone. I don't know, Garp-san is a bloodhound. He doesn't wear that stupid dog mask for nothing, you know. The doctor chuckled at the thought. If you can somehow get them to the ship without Garp-san knowing, I'll give them a checkup, but I bet 20 berries you can't. Oh, I bet 30 berries I can. Bogard replies. He laughs and turns to one of the older recruits with a smirk. What do you think, James? I bet I can get Garp-san's brats on board without him knowing, but Doc here thinks I can't. With your track record with Garp-san, I say you have a 55% chance of success, maybe higher if it wasn't Garp-san's grandchildren. The now named Marine said, causing Bogard to puff out his chest and the doc to chuckle. You sure? We have a bet on 30 berries apiece depending on the outcome. The doc said, making the Marine think carefully. If Bogard is allowed help, I think his chances go up by 15% at least, as well if we are actively hindering Garp-san is another 5%, so yeah, I think it could be possible, James said. He honestly hoped Garp's grandkids were alright. I think Luffy is in Fuchsia village, however, I don't know where Ace might be. Luffy is 6 after all, and a 6-year-old should not be subjected to hockey-infused fists, Bogard said stiffly. He is honestly surprised they are still alive. Back in the mindscape, Naruto was saying goodbye to Minato and Kushina. Kurama was watching and waiting. He knew his kit would take them leaving hard, especially since he got to talk to them this time around. Sayonara, Ka-san-tu-san. Daisuke Naruto said smiling while they faded away. Once they were gone, he started to cry. The cage was open, so Kurama curled around his kit to comfort him. "It's okay kid, it's okay. I'm here and you're not alone. It's going to be okay," Kurama said in a soft tone. "Arigato, Kurama." Naruto looked at Kurama and smiled, he was delighted he still had Kurama. They stayed like that for a while, and Naruto didn't want to move from his comfortable spot, and Kurama wanted to keep his kit safe. However, Kurama knew Naruto needed to wake up and they needed to find information about their new world. But for now, he will comfort his kit and let him come to terms with the fact that he might not ever see his friends or village again. "Kit, I'm not sure if you have realized yet, but there might not be a way to get back home," Kurama said softly, trying to make sure Naruto wouldn't panic. "So, I'll never see Hinata again? Or become Hokage? Or see any of my friends again?" Naruto looked at Kurama with pleading eyes. This wasn't fair. "I'm afraid so kid, however, if the scroll set us here then maybe there is a scroll to send us back, I can't be sure, and we'll just have to find information about where we are. You should probably wake up kid, and someone helped you out of the sea, so they might have answers for you." Kurama purred against Naruto's back and he was trying to make sure his kid would be alright and knew he was there for him. "Okay, I'm going to go now then, wish me luck," Kurama Naruto said with a smile and left the mindscape. Chapter 2. Kind People. Naruto leaves the mindscape and wakes up in the ship's med bay, and the doctor noticed Naruto was waking up and motioned for the others to be quiet. He walked over to Naruto and started to recheck his vitals. Now he was awake. Naruto, not sure what was going on, decided to play dumb and be a brat. "Hey kid, are you alright? How do you feel?" The doctor asked calmly and carefully not to scare the kid. Unfortunately for the doctor, Naruto wasn't easily frightened. "I'm fine, Jai-san," Naruto said, not caring if he offended the doctor. He was not a kid, yes he looked like one now, but he was 20, he was engaged. He was not a kid. "I'm not old, brat." "Hey, but you have gray hair and wrinkles," Naruto smirked, he loved to wind people up. "That doesn't mean I'm old." Bogard started to chuckle, this brat was funny. But to save himself the headache later he decided to make himself known before the doc did something to the kid. Like, put him to sleep or scare the brat so bad he won't sleep properly for weeks. Oh how he hated paperwork. "Anyway, I'm Bogard. Vice Admiral Garp's right-hand man." "Hello, Gomen, I'm Uzumaki and Naruto." Where am I?" "Well, we are approaching Dawn Island in East Blue, do you live there?" I don't remember." Naruto didn't want to give away that he was a shinobi, as he knew nothing of this world and what its morals might be. However, as he knew nothing of this world and he was 12 years old again, his chakra control would be severely damaged, so trying to escape would be more difficult, as well as using jutsus. He needed more time until Kurama made a connection, the fox always knew what to do. So, for now, he will play the hyperactive brat that gets on everyone's nerves. The doctor looked at Naruto and he decided to do a concussion check. As people don't forget where they come from unless they genuinely didn't know or had amnesia. "Boy brat, I'm going to do a concussion check, okay?" Bogard, "Well, I checked the brat over, go tell Garp-san he's awake," the doctor told Bogard, well he had a chat with this insufferable brat. Bogard left and gave a knowing look at the doctor, the doc rolled his eyes and then turned to Naruto. He was getting tired of the brat's attitude and he almost pitied him. Almost. Garp was going to have a field day with the brat. "So Gaki how?" "Don't call me that. Call me brat or kid or anything else, but that please," Naruto snapped at the doctor, being in his younger body made it harder to control his emotions, hadn't heard anyone call him that in a long time, not since Jiraiya-sensei. Naruto and an older man with white hair walked with him down a street. "Why do I have to follow you on a data gathering trip?" "Why?" Naruto turned and asked the older man. The older man stopped and turned to Naruto, smiling as he talked. "It's not just a normal data gathering trip." The scene flashed and it showed the older white-haired man talking to Naruto again. "A long time ago, I used to teach the 4th Hokage. Oddly enough, you remind me of him." The older man's face flashed with nostalgia. That scene flashed again to where the older man was talking to Naruto with determination. "This time won't be wasted. On the way, I'll be spending time with you, so make sure you're ready, got some rigorous training." "I have no time to waste," Naruto said with a lot of determination, while the older man smiled at the man and carried on walking. The scene flashed and Naruto was lying in the shade of a tree, the older man walking towards Naruto with a bag. He hands Naruto a split popsicle and they share it. Naruto smiles at him before leaning against the man and promptly falling asleep. It flashed again to the Hokage's office where an elder toad sat looking at Naruto with slight pity. Jiraiya-chan was killed in battle. Kit, it's okay, calm down, it's okay. He doesn't have the right to call me that. Hiro-sennin called me that." I know, but you have to let go. Is okay, I'm here kid, I'm here. So is he, in spirit. He would be so proud of you Naruto, I know I am kid. Arigato Kurama. Naruto. Brat, are you alright? The doc was holding on to Naruto's shoulders, shaking him. The doctor looked panicked, unsure as to why the kid looked dead to the world. It scared him, and he'd seen deadly pirates. While the doctor was trying to calm Naruto down and do some more checks, Bogard was attempting to find Garp. Unfortunately, it was not an easy task. Garp was either with the new trainees or with his grandsons. Bogard sighed, deciding to check on the marine recruits first because he didn't want to try and find Garp in the jungle with his grandson. No, he really didn't want to do that. As Bogard entered the training room, his Kenbun Haki observation alerted him to a cannonball being thrown in his direction. He ducked and glared in the direction the cannonball came from. Standing in the middle of the room with a rack of cannonballs beside him was Monkey D. Garp, and behind him were the new recruits. They all had a mixture of amazement and terror on their faces as Garp laughed, then explaining Haki to them. Bogard sighed. Garp-san, I do hope you are not throwing cannonballs to show off to the new recruits. Because if you were, I'd hope you'd know you'd have to fix whatever you break. Bogard glaring at the vice admiral. Honestly, sometimes he wished Garp didn't act like an idiot. Ah, Bogard. I was just showing the new recruits, Kenbun Shoku and Buzushoku Haki armament. Oh no, I'll fix that wall later. Wahaha, Garp laughed, not seeing the frustrated look on Bogard's face. Anyway, Garp-san. The brat is awake and Doc is giving him another checkup. When you're ready, meet us in the infirmary. After you've fixed the wall please. Bogard then turned around and left, leaving a sulking Garp now fixing the wall of the ship. Using Kenbun Shoku, Bogard could hear Garp sulk and mutter how unfair it was, as it was a complete accident, he didn't mean to break the wall. Bogard smirked, that would be worth the extra paperwork Garp would dump on him later. In the med bay, the doc had just finished calming Naruto down. Honestly, the doctor hoped the kid wouldn't get another panic attack, though he was also curious as to why the kid panicked. Are you alright now, brat? The doc said quietly, hoping the kid could respond. Why yeah, I'm okay. Naruto looked up at the doc and tried to smile, knowing he wasn't okay, but he couldn't precisely tell strangers why he had a panic attack. The doc looked into Naruto's eyes and froze. Those weren't the eyes of a kid, they were the eyes of a veteran marine. Just what the hell had the kid seen because he wasn't okay? That's bull. You're not okay. What happened kid? The doc knew something was wrong, and until he knew what happened to this kid, Garp was not coming anywhere near the med bay, no matter what. Why do you care? It's got nothing to do with you. Naruto felt a bit insulted. No one ever tried to break Naruto's barrier when Jiraiya died. Yes, Shikamaru helped him come to terms with Hirosenen's death, but no one pushed him to accept or asked about how he really felt. Even after the war, no one really asked honestly who wanted to hear about losing loved ones. Hell, Hinata and Naruto never talk about Neji, and it hurts. Neji understood better than anyone else how it felt to be burdened with something outside of your control. You're a kid. Yet you have the same eyes as the veterans I help, the same dead eyes of a man who's seen death, breathed death, and lived death. So how do you know how bloody the world really is, kid? The doc asked, holding on to Naruto carefully, showing Naruto it's okay to trust him. Tell him a white lie kid, you need to tell someone. I doubt the doc will believe you if you tell him everything, but telling him you've seen death and carnage might help you. Are you sure, Kurama? How can I know he won't tell that Garp guy? You could ask him not to, patient confidentiality and all that. Okay, thanks partner. There was a war, I'm 12 years old now, and the people I care about die. My godfather died trying to help me, my best friend tried to kill me, and I'm far from home with no idea where I am. I'm not okay, I'm extremely far from okay. Naruto didn't look into the doctor's eyes, he kept looking at the bedsheets. He was tired of all the pity looks he got from the villagers. Yes, it was better than the glares. But now it's more annoying because they call him a hero. They act like they did nothing wrong his whole life, like they didn't make him feel unwanted, like they didn't call him demon brat, like they didn't try and push their children away from Naruto. I see, the doc said softly, only to sit down next to Naruto and pull him into a hug. You don't want pity, and you certainly don't need it. You're brave kid, I'm sure your godfather is happy you are alive. And Garp-san can help you get back on your feet. It may not be okay now, but it will get better. As the doc was talking, Naruto was slightly crying. He'd never talked about this to anyone besides Kurama. See, it's going to be okay kid. Not everyone is like the citizens of Konoha kid. I suppose so, he really is a kind doctor. Arigato, mister. Naruto smiled and looked up at the doctor. Maybe this world wouldn't be so bad after all. Chapter 3. Crazy old man. Naruto was happy, the doctor was kind and understanding. If this Garp guy was like him, then it might not be so bad. The door opened and Bogard walked through, he had a slight smile on his face. Garp-san will be here soon, he's fixing the wall at the moment, the doc sighed and looked at Bogard. What did he do this time? The doctor didn't move from his spot, only turning slightly so he could talk to Bogard better. He threw a cannonball at me, he was showing the trainees how hockey works and how useful it can be, Naruto then froze, throwing cannonballs. Jesus, did he stumble upon another guy sensei? The doc noticed Naruto's expression and laughed. Most people would react in horror, but Naruto seemed to recognize that before looking horrified. Garp-san is known for doing that, he's a bit extra and likes to show off. The doc said, ruffling Naruto's hair. Yes, Garp-san does enjoy the drama and theatrics, Bogard said like it was an everyday thing. Anyway, how are you doing, Georgia? Bogard was cut off by the doc throwing a pillow at him. Don't call him that. The doc then turned to look at Naruto, seeing no distress he smiled and patted Naruto's head. Naruto smiled back, glad someone understood. Oh, I didn't mean to offend you, Brad. Are you okay? Bogard asked while sitting in a chair not far from them. Naruto tensed, he needs to get used to other people calling him Gaki. I'll be alright, and my godfather Jiraiya used to call me Gaki, and I'd call him Iro-senin, it's just been a while. The doc patted Naruto's back, the kid told him about his godfather's death, so it makes sense for him to still feel like that. What about your parents? Is there anyone to look after you? Bogard asked carefully, he knew it might be a sore subject, but he wanted to try and help him. No, my parents died the day I was born. Ob-san can't, so there isn't anyone I can look after myself though. Naruto looked up solemnly, trying to smile. Unfortunately, Bogard and the doc both looked at Naruto with surprise. So, there is no one else? No one to look after you? Docs looked at Bogard then to the kid and finally understood why his eyes were so dark. He was alone, he had no one to help him. Nope, it's been like that all my life. Oji-san tried to help before he died protecting the village, but he was busy. Iro-senin sent money while he traveled and Ob-san tried, but she's the best medic doctor, there wasn't anyone else, Naruto explained to them. There, all done. Now to see the brat, Garp said with a loud laugh, he then turned to the new recruits. Train hard. With that, Garp left and headed towards the med bay. Garp was curious about the kid that fell from the sky, Bogard had taken it upon himself to look after the brat. Usually, he would hand the kid off to Doc and carry on with his day, for the kid to catch his attention was something else. As Garp neared the med bay, he could hear what they were saying, and because of this Garp froze. No, my parents died the day I was born. Ob-san can't, so there isn't anyone I can look after myself though. Garp assumed it was the kid and could hear the coldness in his voice. So, there is no one else? No one to look after you? Bogard seemed to ask the brat, Garp honestly hoped there was someone. The kid sounded like Ace, and that didn't sit well with Garp. Nope, it's been like that all my life. Oji-san tried to help before he died protecting the village, but he was busy. Iro-senin sent money while he traveled and Ob-san tried, but she's the best medic doctor, there wasn't anyone else. Garp needed to take a breath, the brat looked about as old as Ace, the kid should have someone there for him. Garp decided to cheer the kid up and to show off he'd use hockey and go through the wall. Well, when Garp-san gets here, he could help you find a family, Bogard said, trying to comfort Naruto. Where is he anyway? He should be here. The doc was cut off by the wall next to the door exploding and a man walking through the hole. Ah! Naruto screamed, jumping to his feet in a defensive stance, old ninja habits die hard. When Naruto realized what he did, he hid behind Bogard. Bogard sighed, why did Garp have to do that? Why? He turned to Naruto and patted his head to try and calm him down. Really, Garp-san, I do hope you fix that wall later, Bogard said, making sure Naruto heard him. Wait. That's Jai-san. The one you said can throw cannonballs. Naruto exclaimed, it was like a mixture of Gai-sensei and Hokage Jai. Wahaha, so ka. Bogard, have you been exaggerating? Garp smiling at Naruto. Before attempting to hit the kid for calling him an old man, only to be stopped by Bogard and the doc. Garp-san, please don't hit the kid. He's already got a mild concussion from when he hit the ocean. The doc said before handing Garp a toolkit, he then pointed to the wall. Fix it. Giving Garp no time to back out of it. Garp grumbled but obliged, Doc can be scary when he wants to be. Garp was not a fool to anger him further. Before he got to work, he noticed Bogard looking at the kid protectively. That crazy old man could have put that old monkey of yours through his paces without breaking a sweat. Hi, he's like Gai-sensei, and that honestly terrifies me. I can understand, brat, be careful. The Bog guy said he was essential to the military, so be wary of what you say. Anyway, brat, I'm Monkey D. Garp, Vice Admiral for the Marines. Bogard is my right-hand man, and Doc is well the doc of this ship. Wahaha, Garp said while he sat down to fix the wall. Oh, Suman. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, Hajimemashite. Naruto didn't want to anger the man like the doc and Bogard, it didn't seem like he would laugh it off like them. Ajimemashite, to you too brat, Garp said. He noticed the kid didn't act like a good kid. He saw the fight and flight reaction and how the kid wanted to stand defensive but chose not to. I'm not a brat, Jai-san, Naruto shot back without thinking. Honestly, he needs to think before he says anything. Garp stopped hammering and turned to Naruto. He could see a veteran fighting spirit within the child. Maybe he wasn't a kid, there were devil fruits that could change a person's age. Garp laughed and carried on hammering, while Bogard told the kid off trying to explain that Garp was his superior. The doc laughed because honestly, it was funny to watch Garp get told off by a kid. Anyway, Garp-san, Bogard and I found out the kid has no family. I was wondering if you could take him to an orphanage. After I have made sure he's safe to leave. Doc made it clear Naruto wasn't to leave until he was sure the brat would be alright. Fine, he and Luffy would get along great. Bogard sighed, he would have to explain to Naruto later. Who's Luffy? Or now as the case may be. Luffy is Garp-san's grandson. Maybe we can get him on board later so you can meet him, this could help him get around that bet. I don't see why not, I'll get Luffy and he can visit tomorrow. Is that alright, Doc? Doc glared at Bogard. If Doc gave Luffy a checkup while Garp was training the recruits, Bogard would win the bet, sneaky bastard. As long as Naruto is alright with meeting new people. The doc said, trying to be sly, only for Naruto to nod his head. For some reason Naruto really wanted to meet this kid. Alright then, I'll bring the brat tomorrow. And after Naruto's checks are done, Naruto can stay with Luffy. He's turning 6 in a few weeks. Garp said with a smile, he would leave after Luffy's birthday. As much as he doesn't want to. When Garp finished hammering, he left saying goodbye to Naruto, Bogard and the doc. He decided to tell Luffy now, that way the kid wouldn't try and hide from him tomorrow. Garp is a crazy old man, so I'll be his grandson. Is he technically adopting me? Naruto questioned. Both Bogard and Doc couldn't figure it out either. They prayed for Naruto's and Luffy's safety in the future. We don't know, kid, but be warned, he wants Luffy and possibly you now to be Marines, so he will train you with hockey-infused fists, Bogard said calmly. What's hockey? Naruto had heard that word a few times now, and he honestly wanted to know what it meant. Was it like chakra here? Haki is the manifestation of one's will. Kenbun-shoku is basically being able to see everything around you and being able to dodge an oncoming attack. Byuza-shoku is basically able to harden your body so you can take more damage. Garp-san's speciality is Byuza-shoku. Then you have the 1 in a million Haki, Hashoku, King Conqueror's Haki. Basically, you can overpower someone else's Haki. Bogard explained as best as he could, but honestly, he didn't think the kid would be able to use it until he was older. So, it's like killing intent and chakra. Probably brat, Hashoku seems like kill intense, and the other two looks like advanced chakra training. Ah, okay, thanks Kurama. Naruto understood and was looking forward to meeting Luffy. Maybe the kid could help him understand this world better and help him find a way home. He didn't know what else to do, so he nodded. Well, let's get you some food then, off to bed with you brat. This way to the mess hall. Bogard said while the doc nodded. The kid needed food before anything else. Naruto followed Bogard to the mess hall. It was a bit confusing, but he should be able to remember after a few times. Bogard opened the mess hall door. As he did, Naruto was assaulted with a lot of noise. He wasn't expecting this and jumped, trying to hide behind Bogard. Hey look, that brat's awake. A random Marine said, causing the mess hall to quiet down. Boy, what's the kid's name? Someone else shouted. Boy, Bogard. Why's the brat here? Someone near the kitchen shouted. There were other people asking questions, and Naruto started to feel uncomfortable with all the eyes staring at him. It was like he was back in the village. It wasn't fair. Stop looking at me. Kid, calm down, they are not the sheep from Konoha. But they are staring at me. I know, but it's okay. The bog guy will keep you safe, and they are probably simply curious. Just stay calm, you need to eat and then rest. Okay. Naruto took a deep breath in and out. Naruto looked at Bogard and hoped Bogard could talk for him. He didn't want all that attention. Naruto just wanted to eat and then go to sleep. He was looking forward to meeting Luffy and starting on his chakra control training. Chapter 4. Monkey D. Luffy. Naruto spent the night in his mindscape talking to Kurama and reading Fuinjutsu. Once he had reasonable chakra control, he was going to send clones out to gather information. This world he was in was vastly different from his own. Kid, you should wake up soon. The crazy old man wants you to meet the little monkey. Kurama purred. He knew once Naruto was set on doing something, he would. Yeah, I wonder what he's like, Naruto said, not looking up from his book. Minato left for him. When Naruto woke up, he was in the infirmary. Naruto was excited and ready to meet Monkey D. Luffy and start on his chakra control. He didn't want to be weak, and it was kinda pathetic how he used to be, but now he understands what the problem was. He can overcome it. After he got up, he tried to find his way to the mess hall. Unfortunately, because he was talking to Bogard, he might not have paid as much attention as Naruto thought he did. See if anyone can help you, kid, there are people to your left. Thanks, Kurama. No problem, kid. Naruto turned to see someone fiddling with some rope. Naruto walked towards them and coughed to get their attention. The said person jumped, dropping the rope and getting into a fighting stance. When they saw Naruto, they relaxed, shaking their heads at Naruto. Jesus, you scared me, brat. The Marine took a deep breath, then smiled at Naruto. I'm impressed though, not many people can sneak up on me. So, what do you want? Could you tell me how to get to the mess hall please mister? Naruto asked nicely for once, feeling kinda bad for scaring the Marine. Of course, kid, it's just down that hallway and then to the left. You were almost there. Bogard should be in there, I know the others were boisterous yesterday. But don't worry, Bogard told them not to ask too many questions, okay? The Marine pointed and smiled. Thank you. I'll see you later Mr. Naruto smiled and walked to the mess hall. As Naruto walked, he decided to talk to Kurama because as soon as the doc said he was fine. He was going to train and he needed Kurama's help. He was kind, vastly different from the villagers. Yeah, they all are kid. So once the doc gives the all clear, what chakra training should I start with first and should I try using yours as well? You should start with your chakra first and once you can tree climb and water walk, then we can start with mine and the others. Others? Do you mean Sage? Never mind that now, you should eat first then train kid. You are in the mess hall now. Wait, what did you mean, others? Kurama. Baka Kitsune. Naruto goes towards the food and stacks a plate. After so many years of being stared at he can feel everyone looking at him. Naruto just wanted to scream at them, but knew he wouldn't get anywhere. Naruto scans the room when he spots Bogard, he walks over to him and sits next to him. Morning Mr. Bogard Naruto greets him before he digs into his food. Bogard smirks at him and replies to Naruto. Morning kid, how do you feel? I feel a bit better, but I wish people would stop looking at me like I'm a piece of pottery. As Naruto says that he glares at everyone who's looking at him. It'll pass, Garp-san has already left to get Luffy. He should be back soon, once you've finished eating Doc said he wanted to give you another checkup. So, once you've finished, head back to the medbay. Alright, brat. Bogard said, unsure if the kid would go back to the medbay without a fuss. Alright, I'm almost done. By the way will Garp do the wall smash thing again? Naruto thought it was cool, but it scared him as he had no idea when it would happen. If Garp-san knows what's good for him he won't, Bogard said, making Naruto slightly scared of the man. Alright brat, you are healthy and have no injuries or concussions, Doc said, looking at his chart. Naruto on the bed looked at him and smiled, glad he could start his training. Thanks, Jai Naruto laughed, the doc glared slightly before shaking his head. Naruto got dressed in the marine uniform, he didn't have anything else as his other clothes were thrown away. Even if they did shrink with him, it was weird not to be wearing his jumpsuit. If you go to the deck you might be able to find Garp, he should be back by now, Doc said, turning to Naruto, he wanted to keep the kid longer, but they needed to get back to the new world. That doesn't mean they won't see each other again, though. Thank you for everything, Doc, I've been told you all will be leaving soon, so I wanted to say thank you in person, Naruto said, giving a bow. It's alright brat, now go see Garp's grandkid before he comes and puts another hole in my wall. Naruto nodded and left, giving a wave back to the doctor, Naruto, then tried to make his way to the deck. He passed Bogard who smiled and told him the way he needed to go, Naruto also said thank you to him. For saving his life and helping him around. As Naruto reached the deck he could hear shouting, it sounded like a kid, then he heard Garp's voice yell, and then a pained yelp followed Garp's voice. And you are going to become a marine, and that's final Luffy. Garp said, waving his hands in the air while a kid, Naruto assumes was Luffy, held his head like he was hit. Tai. Jai-chan that hurts. Why do you always hit me? The kid exclaimed glaring at the older man. Naruto looks at the interaction and has a flashback to Konohamaru, it pains Naruto as he didn't realize he misses his not younger brother, when Naruto saw Garp going in for another hit, Naruto's instinct tells him he should stop it. Sorry, I'm late I got lost on the path of life Naruto tried not to cringe when he said that. But he didn't know what else to say, and it did stop Garp from hitting Luffy. Ah Naruto, you're not late, Garp said, stopping in his attempt to teach Luffy a lesson. This is my grandson Luffy, Luffy say hi to Naruto. Garp pushed Luffy forwards, Luffy is understandably shy and looks at Naruto with curiosity. Yo, I'm Monkey D. Luffy. I'm gonna be a pirate. Just as Luffy says that a fist comes down on his head. What did I just say Luffy? You cannot become a pirate. You are going to become a strong and respectful marine. Stupid brat. Tai. That hurts Jai-chan, stop hitting me. Luffy replies, he hates it when Garp gets like this. It's nice to meet you Luffy, my name is Uzumaki Naruto, Naruto says, extending his hand. Naruto decided he was going to try and protect him, he needed to find his purpose here. You'll find a kid, that little monkey is like you. Luffy's eyes are filled with loneliness and hate. Though the hate is less than what you had at his age. How do I help him? Just be there for him, he needs people he can depend on. Right? Dai-chan said you fell from the sky, how did you do that? Luffy asked, walking closer to Naruto. To be honest, I don't remember. I remember waking up in the infirmary, but that's it. Naruto isn't wholly lying, he doesn't know how he got transported into the sky. Well, he does, but it is hard to explain, and Garp seems to be listening in on their conversation. Oh okay. Oh. Have you been to Fuchsia village yet? Have you been to the party bar? Have you? Luffy was cut off by Naruto putting his hand on Luffy's mouth. Haha, he's like a more hyperactive smaller version of you. Not helping. No, I haven't been to Fuchsia village, so I haven't been to the party bar. Jai-san has told me about Dawn Island and the town, but I haven't been down there. So, I haven't met anyone yet. Did I get everything? Naruto said, letting go of Luffy's mouth. Oh okay, last question. Do you like Marines or pirates better? As Luffy says that Naruto can't see Garp steaming with rage. I think Marines. Garp seems to be pleased and turns away when he does, he whispers to Luffy, though pirates look cooler right? Luffy smiles and hugs Naruto, he hoped Naruto would stay. Well, Luffy, I have to get going soon. So, would you mind taking Naruto to Makino's? I'll meet you there in a bit. I've got a few things to sort out. Luffy nodded and started to drag Naruto away. Naruto looked back to see Garp talking into a snail. I'll be setting off in an hour, Senny. Just saying goodbye to my grandkids. Garp said, with a slight frown. Garp wanted to stay longer, but he had a job to do. Alright Garp, see you back at headquarters, Sengoku replied. Garp was a few days behind schedule. But he knew Garp had a soft spot for kids, he did too, which is why he let it slide. Roger, see you in a week, Garp said, then hung up. Garp then went to find Bogard and make sure everything was ready for them to leave in an hour. Luffy was showing Naruto around Fuchsia village, introducing him to people. Naruto meets the mayor would slap, though Naruto wasn't sure how to feel about the old man. He seemed pleased Naruto was wearing a marine outfit, but other than that Naruto wasn't sure. Naruto was eventually dragged to the party bar, which was run by a young green-haired lady called Makino. She was lovely and served him and Luffy lunch. That's when Naruto found out about how much Luffy can eat, and Naruto smiled. It reminded him of Choji. Naruto's heart hurt again. It's okay to be a sad kid. You miss them, it's okay. But you need to focus on what's in front of you. I know Kurama, but it's hard. Will I ever be able to see or do something without feeling like a piece of me is missing? I do not know, but I do know that you need to keep moving forwards, okay? Okay, thank you Kurama. So, Naruto-kun. Where are you from? Makino asked while she was cleaning the bar. I don't know or remember, sorry. I remember falling then waking up in the infirmary. Makino stopped what she was doing and looked at him, she then smiled and carried on cleaning. It's okay, I'm sure Garp-san has arranged something. Where is he anyway? He said he would be stopping by. I don't know, he said he'd meet us here, Naruto replied when the swing doors opened and Garp came inside the bar. Ah, Garp-san, we were just talking about you. Where is Naruto going to be staying? And where is his family? Naruto flinched when Makino asked that, her voice sounded like Sakura's and Obasan's when they had told him he needed rest and would scold him for being reckless. Garp saw Naruto's flinch and gave sad eyes to him, then turned to Makino and told her he needed to talk to her in private. Makino told him the back was fine and she led the way with Garp passing the boys and telling them he'll be back in a minute. When they returned, Makino glared slightly at Garp and then went to clear some tables. Garp sat next to the boys, he needed to explain something to them. So, Naruto. You are going to be staying with Luffy and Makino. I've been called by Marine HQ for a mission. I'll be away for just over a year. Luffy, I'm sorry I'm going to miss your birthday, but I've given Makino your gift, I'll try and ring. However, I don't know what the mission entails yet. Luffy didn't look at Garp, he might be used to it, but that didn't mean he liked it when Garp had to leave. Naruto, on the other hand, wasn't sure how to react. So, I'm staying with Luffy and Makino, and you are going away for a year because of a mission, am I right? I wasn't sure I heard you correctly, Naruto asked, unsure if he was right. That's correct, I'm sorry Luffy, Naruto, I wish I could stay, but I can't. I won't be gone long though. So, train hard and become strong Marines. Luffy then looked up and replied to Garp. I'm gonna become a pirate. The reaction was instant, Garp had hit Luffy and started to shout, saying how he was going to become a Marine. Naruto stood up and moved in front of Luffy. Don't hit Luffy, he's 5'6" next week. He might grow out of it, don't hit him. Bakajiji. Naruto said glaring at Garp, a family shouldn't do that to one another. Garp looked at Naruto and laughed, then petted Naruto's head which made him very wary. before Garp said goodbye and walked out of the party bar to his ship. I thought I had to shout more, are you okay, Luffy? Naruto turned to see Luffy looking at him like he was a hero. Arigato Naruto, Luffy said, smiling brightly at him. He's a ball of sunshine, isn't he? Kid. Yes, he is Kurama, and I'm gonna make sure he stays safe. Chapter 5. Unresolved Feelings. It has been 2 weeks since Garp left. Luffy was a bit sad not to get a den mushy call from Garp, but he understood. Makino had been kind enough to give Naruto new clothes that suited his style more. Right now, Naruto was training and going over things he had been learning a lot from Makino. Naruto was doing his basic warm-ups and training on top of his chakra training. He could now climb trees with chakra, but water walking was a lot harder at the moment. You should check on the little monkey. Why? Do you feel something? The powerful aura is coming, like kill intent, but stronger and not as bloody. That might be the Hashoku Bogard was talking about. Possible Kid, it's still a few hours away from the island. Didn't Bogard say some pirates have hockey? I don't know, Kid. I wasn't paying attention to them. Anyway, I'm going to sleep, or at least try if your hyperactive mind doesn't keep me awake. Okay Kurama, I'll try not to disturb you. Naruto then started his long walk back to the village and was tired of the chakra control training. But he wanted to be able to fight if he needed to and be able to protect the people he cares deeply for. After the war, Naruto had a hard time getting back to normal, especially with the people he had lost. Everyone had lost someone, but Naruto felt worse when he finally admitted that he only really felt sad about Neji because he sacrificed his life for Naruto's and Hinata's. Naruto never felt like his life was worth all the lives lost in the war, it's why he wanted to fight, it's why he wanted to become Hokage. He wanted to be accepted and wanted to feel like his life was essential. Hinata helped him realize he only needed the people who matter most, not the whole village, but 20 to 40 people who knew him and accepted him no matter what. Naruto hoped they were doing well, and he wondered how much time had passed since he left. However, if he dwelled on it too long, his heart would hurt, he missed his precious people. It didn't take long for Naruto to get back to Fusha village, and it was night and Luffy should be asleep. So, Naruto should get in without disturbing anyone, mainly Makino. Last time Makino had caught him it had been grave, Makino was like a mother bear. Naruto understood then why Garp looked worried when Makino wanted to speak to him. That had not been a good day, lucky Luffy didn't hear her, and Naruto was unsure how to react as he never did have any family besides Jiraiya and Tsunade. Even then, they never really acted like parents. They were more like mentors and godparents that tried to help in any way they could. Once Naruto was inside, he checked in case Makino had been waiting for him, she had done that last time. Almost scared him to death, Kurama had laughed at his defense, while Naruto thought he was going rusty with the fact that Makino had sneaked upon him. When Naruto was sure the coast was clear, he went to his bed. Before he settled down, Naruto glanced over to Luffy and made sure Luffy was alright before he got into his bed. He wasn't sure what to do about that hockey signature Kurama picked up on, but he would make sure Luffy and Makino stayed safe no matter what. In the morning, Naruto noticed Luffy was gone and the bar below him was very loud, slightly panicked. Naruto rushed to get dressed and headed downstairs. At the bar, he saw Makino and Luffy talking to a red-haired man, they were laughing and didn't seem to be in danger. Makino noticed Naruto and smiled, waving him to come over. Luffy noticed and started to tell the man about how awesome Naruto was. Don't worry Naruto, I'll get you some breakfast, can you watch the captain and Luffy for me? Makino asked while taking the plate that was on the bar. Of course, Makino-chan, thank you, Naruto replied, then sat next to Luffy and listened to him ramble. The man laughed and ruffled Luffy's hair, he then looked at Naruto. Naruto noticed the 3 scares over the man's eye and how he looked like an Uzumaki, it slightly unnerved him. Ajimemashide, I'm Shanks, captain of the red-haired pirates, Luffy has told me a lot about you Naruto, Shanks said smiling, which only made it worse for Naruto as the smile reminded him of Jiraiya. This was going to be a long day for him. Ajimemashide, Shanks-san. Thank you for looking after Luffy, Naruto eyes the captain, giving a silent message if you hurt them, and I'll make you pay. The captain stopped smiling and looked at him like he was crazy. Boy brat, that's the guy I was getting the kill intent from. Okay, thanks Kurama. Is there any way for me to use one of your tails? Not if you don't want to lose years of your life, kid. But, if I need to protect Makino and Luffy. Brat. Okay, I'll try and help but only if necessary. Okay. Okay, arigato Kurama. You're right Gaki. Shanks said laughing. Unfortunately, Naruto froze making the captain stop unnerved by Naruto's look, he looked at him like he just killed a puppy. Kid. You alright? Shanks didn't get a reply as Naruto ran from the bar with Luffy shouting his name along with Makino's. Shanks looked at Makino and hoped she would explain why that kid just ran from the bar. However, she was preoccupied with Luffy. He clung to her, asking Makino if she knew why Naruto was acting like this. Makino didn't reply, she just turned to look at Shanks and gave him the mother bear look. Shanks then stood to turn to his first mate, Ben Beckman. "Hold down the fort, I'm gonna look for the kid," Shanks states. Makino watched Shanks give him a look, telling him to bring Naruto back no matter what. Shanks nodded and went off to find the kid. He gave Ben a nod before walking into the forest. Shanks may be good at Kenbun-shoku, he could read the whole island, so why was it so hard for him to find one kid in the forest? As Shanks stumbled about the tree roots, tracking the kid wasn't easy, and trying not to fall on his face was just as tricky. Shanks hoped Makino wouldn't rip him apart. She had told Shanks that if he endangers either Luffy or Naruto, she was going to cut his nuts off. Makino gave off Mother Bear vibes then, so hopefully, she won't go through with her threat if he brings the kid back safe. However, Shanks was getting tired and he wasn't sure if he would find the kid as night fell. It had been a few hours, and in that time, Shanks could feel a demonic presence. He hoped the kid was alright, whatever was creating that presence couldn't be natural. As Shanks walked he wondered what could have caused the kid to run. Shanks was just about to reach the next clearing when he saw the kid, and then suddenly a giant fox with 9 tails talking to him. It had been a few hours since he had a drink, so he couldn't be hallucinating, right? "You should go back, kid, Volume is going to be worried about you as well as the little monkey," the giant fox said, almost like he was scolding Naruto. "Irusi. I just need to train, why are you out anyway? Go back to the mindscape, if anyone saw you they'd freak," Naruto replied glaring at the fox, then started to train again. Or at least Naruto tried to because Kurama used one of his tails to hit Naruto to the ground. "You're a brat, you need to let go of the past. You are going to hurt yourself if you keep going, and you don't have the old hag or banshee to help you now. Stop. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. You don't know what it's like to lose the only person who ever really knew you, helped you, raised you and loved you before anyone else. Iruka-sensei helped, but Jiraiya was the one who helped me. Hiro-seni is dead. Everyone is gone. You don't. I understand more than anyone, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. My father, the sage of 6 paths died, I was hated for existing, I have been sealed away 3 times never to be free. So, don't you dare say I don't understand." Shanks tried his hardest not to pass about the kill intent Kurama gave off, though to him, it could be Hashoku Haki. Shanks wasn't sure if the kid or the fox were friends with the way they were shouting at each other. But that didn't stop Shanks from listening in because if anything this made the kid more mysterious. Naruto fell silent, he felt terrible for what he said to Kurama. If anything Kurama understands the most, and he was taking him for granted, yelling, and getting angry over the fact that some guy called him Gaki. Even after getting transported to another world, Kurama had calmed Naruto down from his numerous panic attacks. "Omen Kurama, I shouldn't have said that. Or acted like that, I'm so deeply sorry." Naruto hung his head in shame, he couldn't look at Kurama, he knew he was in the wrong. "Oh, Naruto," Kurama took a deep breath then sighed, he understood why he was angry, but he wouldn't stand there and let Naruto direct his anger at him. "I know, you miss that crazy old buffon. But you need to accept that Jiraiya, your godfather, is dead. Getting angry when someone calls you Gaki or offers you a popsicle isn't right. I know but it feels wrong, it's like I'm gonna forget all about him. How he trained you, taught you, healed you from your loneliness. Because you do not forget him, kid, he may not be here in spirit, but he is here in your heart. It's like how I carry my father, he may be gone but not forgotten." Naruto started to cry, Kurama moved his tail off Naruto's back and shrunk so he could curl around Naruto better. Naruto latched onto Kurama and cried, he needed this, it was nice knowing someone knew when Naruto needed to talk things out. Shanks was trying not to cry himself, all he could think about was his old captain. Shanks smiled, he'd hate to ruin the moment, so what were a few more hours to a half-day search? That red-haired man is pathetically trying to hide from me. You should come out now." Kurama made sure Shanks was aware of his presence, Naruto tensed. He didn't want to talk to him, tomorrow not now. Shanks moved from behind the tree and slowly started to walk towards the duo. "Look, I mean no harm, I just want to take the kid back to Makino," as Shanks said. Naruto paled. Kurama realizing why Naruto was so horrified laughed, he was glad he would never meet that woman in person. "I'm alright now, Shanks, and I'm sorry for running away." Naruto started to talk to Shanks, though now he was right in front of them, patted Naruto's head. "You can tell me, tomorrow kid, let's get you back to town, okay?" Shanks asked, extending his hand to him. Naruto took it as Kurama puffed away. "Tomorrow is going to be a long day." After the incident in the forest, Naruto felt more comfortable with Shanks. Unfortunately, Makino hadn't been happy with Naruto, so he was confined to the party bar until further notice. Getting back had been fine, there wasn't a scratch in Naruto, but suddenly running from the bar with no explanation hadn't earned him any points with Makino. Naruto decided to tell Makino the truth and why he was upset. Surprisingly, she had taken it well, but as he did run out of the pub, Makino decided to make sure Naruto understands her. Shanks had been kind enough to not question Naruto until he was ready, and Naruto was thankful for that. Kurama was enjoying Naruto's punishment, and to help Makino, Kurama stopped Naruto from training in the mindscape. Naruto did not like that, but he understood where the two were coming from. In hindsight, it went better than Naruto thought it would. Heading back had been fine, but it had been a nice and quiet walk back to the party bar, and sitting on a chair next to the doorway was first mate Ben. Shanks nodding to his crewmate and then walking into the pub. Makino was seated at a table with Luffy next to her, fast asleep. When she noticed them, she smiled and shook Luffy awake, who was ecstatic to see Naruto. Makino asked Shanks if Luffy could stay on his ship for tonight, as she wanted to talk to Naruto privately. Shanks could feel the mother bear aura and happily obliged, so he wouldn't get in between Makino and Naruto. Shanks gave Naruto a pitied look, then went with Ben and Luffy back to his ship. "Why did you run off? If Shanks hadn't brought you back, I was going to call Garp." Makino started to yell as soon as she was sure Luffy was far enough away. Naruto cringed, well aware of how upset he had made Makino. "Omen, Naruto couldn't say it, he was emotionally drained and didn't want to carry on the conversation." "You just why Naruto?" Suddenly didn't like Shanks, suddenly wanted to go exploring. "What? I should feed you to the Lord of the Coast." Makino screamed, then turned away from him. Naruto had already learned that the Lord of the Coast wasn't someone to be messed with. "Hami, this is almost as bad as Oba-san and Sakura-chan. This is what you get, kid." "I know, but still." Naruto sighed. Makino deserved the truth, he just hoped she didn't hate him after he told her. Chapter 6. Bandits, Sea Kings, Training. Oh my. Naruto sighed, he was not looking forward to Makino's reaction. This was going to be a long night. Naruto took a deep breath, then took Makino's hand and sat her down next to the table. "Are you sure about this, kid?" "Yes, I want someone to know." "Makino, there is something I have to tell you." Naruto was nervous, he hoped Makino would listen to him. "Well? What is Naruto?" Makino wasn't happy and she was losing her patience. She couldn't understand why Naruto wouldn't trust her. "The reason I ran W was because Shanks called me Jigaki. My godfather Jiraiya used to call me that before he died, and the truth is I am a ninja, I'm from another world, and I used to be 20 years old and engaged." Naruto stopped talking and looked up at Makino, she was quite unsure what to think or say. "That's not all, I'm a Jinchuriki of Kyuubi no Kitsune, Kurama. He is sealed inside of me using Fuinjutsu." Naruto lifts his shirt and shows Makino the seal before continuing. "There is a lot more, but for now, that is the basics, and Garp, as far as I know, doesn't know any of this." Naruto looked up at Makino, who was sitting still and not doing anything. "So let me get this straight, you are from another world, you're a ninja, and you used to be 20 years old on top of the fact that Garp does not know about this." Makino stood up and looked at Naruto, she couldn't believe him. Naruto winced at Makino's raised voice. Volume sure knows how to scold someone. "Not gonna help. Please, like, puffin, at the size of a cat or something." "Why would I, kid, know?" "No, absolutely not. Please, Kurama. I want Makino to know, please. If she calls me cute or tried to hug me, I'm not going to let you get away with this easily." "Okay, Kurama. I can prove it." Kurama can pop in whenever he feels like it, he's going to now. "Just don't call him cute or hug him, he hates it," Naruto said, hoping Makino would listen. "Fine, but if you are lying to me I will ring Garp." Makino made sure Naruto understood her, and lying wasn't going to help his situation. Before Naruto could speak, Kurama appeared in a puff of smoke, slightly glaring at Naruto before looking at Makino. He sighed before tipping his head like a bow, then looked back up to speak with Makino. "Thank you for looking after the kid. I know he can be challenging, but nonetheless thank you for being concerned and worried about him. Naruto doesn't understand that, due to his past, but I am glad someone here besides the bog guy cares about the brat." Kurama stopped talking as Makino sat down quiet suddenly, she looked between Kurama and Naruto, unsure what to say. Wait, what?" But Garp-san. Makino holds her hand up and takes a deep breath, she then moments for Naruto to sit down next to her and Kurama. "Okay, I don't fully understand, I do hope you can answer my questions, both of you. So please start from the top." It took several hours for Kurama and Naruto to talk to Makino. To their surprise, she had listened and asked questions when she didn't understand something. Aside from that, Makino took in the information and didn't seem to react much, except Jiraiya's death and the war. Makino smiled at Naruto. "Okay, I think I understand now. Still, you shouldn't have run off so until I see fit. You are not allowed to leave the pub grounds unless Shanks or I am with you," Makino said, giving Naruto a hug, which was really happy to get until he heard Kurama. "I'll help. Volume, no more training until the ban is lifted." That included Fuinjutsu training. Kurama smirked at them, then puffed away, saying he was tired and needed sleep. Naruto, I understand why you have been hesitating to speak to people. But just so you know, we are not like the people from Konoha. You and Kurama are different people, I care about you. Makino then gave Naruto another hug. Naruto wasn't sure how to react, but he started to cry. Makino just smiled, she patted Naruto's head and calmed him down. She was glad Naruto was acting like himself. Once Naruto was calm, Makino let go of Naruto and started to clean the pond. Naruto didn't say anything, he stood up and started to help her. Makino smiled, and once they were done, they went to bed. It had been a few weeks since Naruto and Makino had talked. Makino had told him that if he helped out, then he could start training again. Shanks had offered to help train Naruto and Luffy, though in different ways. Naruto was happy and was almost at peace. Kurama and Makino had also enabled him to tell Shanks. To say he was surprised was an understatement, he drank a lot before laughing. Shanks also offered to help Naruto come to terms with his feelings, and in return, Naruto helped Shanks with his haki. Even the first mate Ben had been interested and was surprised that Shanks told him good luck when Naruto turned it into a game. The day was one of the days Shanks was sailing, and Naruto was helping Makino while Luffy sat at the bar and was chatting away. Naruto hoped the ban would end soon, he wanted to train as well as teach Luffy a few things, as what he heard from Luffy made him genuinely concerned. Then Jai-chan told me to fight monkeys, they were mean and tough, Luffy explained, while Naruto was clearing tables. Makino smiled and saw the look Naruto was giving Luffy. Naruto-kun, once you are done you can go to train. Your ban is over. If you wouldn't mind, could you take Luffy with you? Makino smiled at Naruto who was ecstatic. Naruto rushed to finish as well as Luffy who rushed to finish his food, he was excited to spend time with Naruto. I'm done Makino-san, Luffy and I are going now, we will be back soon, Naruto called as he and Luffy were almost out the door. Luffy was hot on Naruto's trail, Naruto was smiling, Luffy reminded him of Konohamaru. Okay Lu, me and you are going to train so we can show Garp how strong we are. As well as to make him stop hitting us, Naruto said when they arrived at his training grounds. Luffy nodded quickly and waited for Naruto to teach him. Naruto and Luffy spend a few hours training. Naruto helped Luffy understand there are different ways to fight along with how to dodge and use your opponent's momentum against them. It's getting late kid, you should head back now. Okay, thanks Kurama. Okay Lu, it's time to head back now, Naruto said with a slight smile to his face. It was nice to train with someone and to help them. Naruto missed that feeling of accomplishment. Already? Luffy winded while lying down, exhausted but happy. Yes already, it's getting late. We need to head back, come on Lu. If you want, I'll carry you. Naruto offered crouching next to Luffy, who nodded his head and moved his arms up in a grabby motion. Yes please. Luffy yawned when he was picked up and given a piggyback ride, Naruto just smiled and walked to the village. Don't be weary, you are being watched, I sense two small kids. Their auras are sad and lonely. Be careful, I'm unsure if they are going to attack you. I don't think they will, they probably watched me train and I might be older than them. I don't know what they will do, but I doubt they will attack me with Luffy on my back. You can never be too sure, be careful. Will do, thank you for the warning. Naruto made sure to keep an ear out, he would protect Luffy. Also, if push comes to shove Naruto could use Cage Bunshin, he could get help if he needs to or make a distraction and run for it. It didn't take long for Naruto to get to the village, the two auras left a while ago, but larger ones like adults replaced them. Naruto hoped the bandits knew Garp-san and wouldn't try and mess with him. It had been a few days since Naruto and Kurama sensed the mountain bandits. They weren't sure if they would come down from the mountain, but Naruto was prepared in case they did. Shanks had returned from his adventure, Naruto was glaring at Shanks because of what happened on his ship 20 minutes prior. Luffy was standing on the ship's figurehead with a knife in his hand, he was yelling for the pirates to watch him. The little monkey is going to try and prove himself, you should stop him. He's not going to do anything dangerous, it's Luffy. He's still learning how to fight correctly. Okay, but don't say I didn't warn you. Hey Luffy. What are you trying to do? Shanks yelled up at Luffy. I'm really serious. I'm so pissed. I'm gonna prove it to you. Luffy shouted back, and it was then Naruto got a feeling something was going to happen to Luffy. Yeah, do it. I don't know what you're gonna do though. Shanks egged Luffy on, Luffy then moved the knife in his hand to his face. Naruto hoped to calmly that Luffy wasn't going to do what he thought. Luffy stabbed himself in the face with the knife, right under his left eye, all the pirates started to freak out. Tai. Luffy screamed and started to cry. I told you so. Kid. You idiot. What are you doing? Shanks screamed back at Luffy and ran to him with Naruto in front of him. Cheers, guys. Shanks' crew shouted. The Luffy's guts and out great journey. Someone else shouted. Luffy sat close to Shanks still slightly crying, saying it didn't hurt at all, but Shanks being Shanks scolded Luffy before teasing him. Luffy walked off and started to talk to Ben, the first mate. Naruto was only half listening to the conversations until Makino asked how long they were staying for. Shanks replied that they weren't going to wait much longer as it had almost been a year. Naruto's heart dropped, it couldn't be a year yet. Luffy wasn't 7 till May, and it's only Naruto went pale, he couldn't believe so much time had passed. Luffy sat back next to Shanks, thinking of a plan to make Shanks take him before he leaves permanently. He then started to eat in frustration, a weird fruit. The bar door was then kicked in, and a group of bandits started to walk in. Naruto knew nothing good would come of this, he was ready to fight, but Ben put a hand on his shoulder and gave him a smile while nodding towards Shanks. "Pardon us, so these are pirates. Look pretty damn dumb," the boss of the bandits says, walking in like he owned the place. "We're mountain bandits, but we ain't here to tear up the place. Sell us some booze." "I'm sorry. I just ran out of alcohol," Makino said politely with a small smile. Naruto wanted to move to try and protect Makino, but Ben held him back. "These pirates seem to be drinking something. What is it, water?" the bandit said back like he was accusing Makino. "No, what they're drinking is the last of it," Makino said again. She hoped the bandits wouldn't do anything while Luffy and Naruto were here. "My apologies. Looks like we drank the whole place dry. Sorry. You can have this if you'd like, it hasn't been opened yet." Shanks offered the unopened bottle in his hand to the bandit. The bandit glared at Shanks before smashing the bottle over Shanks. Luffy jumped back and Naruto moved closer with Ben holding him. Ben knew who Naruto was, and he had a feeling if it got worse the kid might try and kill the bandit. "Hey, you bastard. Who do you think I am? One bottle ain't even enough for a bad time drink," the bandit told Shanks, only Shanks looked down and made an upset noise. "The floor is all wet." Shanks started before a bounty poster was shoved in his face. "Look at this. There is an 8 million berry bounty on my head, I've killed 56 people. They were all impudent like you, so be careful hereafter. But since we're in the mountains and you're on the sea, I don't think we'll see each other again," the bandit whittled on while Shanks moved and started to pick the piece of glass off the floor. "Sorry about that, Makino-san. So, you have a rag?" Naruto wasn't sure what was going on now, but looking at Ben's face, everything was fine. "Oh, I'll do that," Makino replied, grabbing a rag and about to move when a sword slashed across the bar, smashing the plates and glasses onto the floor where Shanks was. Naruto noticed Shanks had moved before the bandit even grabbed his sword, guessing that it was Kenbun-shoku. "Seems you like to clean, then maybe you'll find this more fulfilling," the bandit just smirks at Shanks. He then turned and started to leave with the other bandits, only to stop just before he left. "Later, wimps." Makino ran to Shanks, checking him over, while Naruto did the same to Luffy. Makino kneeled next to Shanks, worry and concern written all over her. "Captain-san, are you alright?" Makino asked while Shanks raised his hand. Naruto was unable to see his face because of his straw hat. "Oh, no problem at all," Shanks said before laughing, then the whole pub rang with laughter. Naruto realized there was no point in fighting one lousy bandit and his crew, so Naruto smiled and shook his head. "Why are you laughing? That was so uncool. Why didn't you fight them? You're not men or pirates if you laugh after something like that," Luffy yelled at Shanks. Shanks just smiled and put his hat back on. He understood where Luffy was coming from, but it just wasn't worth it. "I can understand how you feel, but he only spilt some booze on me. It's nothing worth getting mad over." Luffy wouldn't account for that and went to leave only for Shank to grab his arm and try to stop him. "Hey, wait, Luffy. I've had it. I don't want to be a coward like you," Luffy said as he was walking off. Naruto watched in horror. Kurama was laughing, but Naruto wasn't. In unison, the pirates did a spit take and looked so confused. His arm stretches. They all screamed. Shanks wasn't looking any better. Naruto zoned out only when he heard Rockstar explain what a devil fruit is and if you eat one you can never swim again. It had been a few weeks since the incident at the pub. Shanks was gone on another voyage. Naruto was training at the moment while Luffy was at the pub. Naruto wasn't sure how to train Luffy. Luffy's stretchy abilities remind Naruto of Choji, his family jutsu was expansion. Maybe Naruto could help Luffy like that. He wasn't sure. "Kit. The bandits from a few weeks ago are at the village now." "What? Just go. I checked an hour ago, and it was fine, they must have moved after I checked." "Crap." Luffy is at the bar alone with Makino. Naruto started to sprint towards the village. He hoped Luffy didn't piss off the bandits. As he neared the town, Naruto noticed a crowd of people in front of the pub. In the middle of the crowd was Luffy, Makino and Mayor Woodslap standing in front of everyone pleading to the bandits to let Luffy go. "Luffy?" Makino screamed, she didn't want to see Luffy hurt. "Please. Let him go." The mayor begged. As Naruto moved closer he could see someone walking behind the mayor and Makino. "I was wondering why the bar was empty." Naruto recognized the voice as Shanks. Naruto relaxed slightly. "Don't relax yet, the bandit might try something." "Right, thanks Kurama." Captain-san. Makino looked shocked and slightly relieved, though Shanks didn't look at Makino. His eyes were dead on the bandit that dared to hurt Luffy. Looks like it's those mountain bandits from before. Shanks' voice turned cold and Naruto could feel the killing intent coming from Shanks. Luffy seemed surprised to see Shanks, he didn't know what to do. Luffy? I thought punches were as strong as pistols. Shanks slowly walked forwards, keeping his eyes on Luffy. The bandit glared at Shanks, he seemed disinterested in Shanks. I don't know why you're here, but you'd best leave before you get hurt. Any closer and he'll shoot your head off. Wimp, the bandit said, trying to be intimidating. He said no closer. Don't make me blow your head off. The bandit who was holding the gun spoke arrogantly. Put your life on the line, Shanks stated. The bandit didn't seem to know what he was talking about so Shanks continued. Now that you've drawn your pistol, put your life on the line. What the heck are you talking about? The bandit yelled, he didn't seem to get the point like Naruto. I'm saying those aren't for threatening people. As Shanks finished, Rockstar shot the bandit from the side while eating some meat. That seemed to shock everyone. Naruto could see the first mate look at him. Naruto nodded, he understood what was going to happen and it didn't bother him as much as people might think. He then slowly made his way to Luffy. The bandits yelled and said it was dirty fighting. Naruto had to suppress a chuckle. There was no clean fighting and he was a ninja. Dirty? Cut the crap. You think you're dealing with saints or something? Ben said, while the rest of the crew marched forward standing behind Shanks, whose eyes had turned cold and sinister. You're looking at pirates. Shanks said as the others stopped moving. It was clear now that Shanks wasn't a wimp and was fighting now for his friend Luffy. Listen bandits. Whether I'm splattered with alcohol or food or even spat on, most of the time I just alight and forget about it. But, no matter what the reason, anyone who hurts my friends has to pay. It was at this moment Shanks looked like the revered pirate captain he was. Naruto moved, so he was on the other side of the well. The bandit boss who pinned Luffy moved, so Naruto was now next to Luffy in a protective manner. Luffy looked in awe at Shanks, while Naruto smiled sadly. Shanks reminded Naruto of his godfather. Has to pay, lousy pirates. Kill them, men. The bandit boss shouted, not realizing the situation he was in. Ben was the only one to move, saying he would be more than enough for the bandits. Naruto smirked, he and Ben had trained a bit, so Naruto knew just how strong and agile he was. Within a minute, Ben disarmed the bandit, burned one or two with his cigarette, and knocked them all on the floor. He then turned to light another cigarette, glaring at the bandit. Don't get cocky, bandit. If you wanna fight us, you better grind yourself a warship or something. Ben said, raising his rifle to the bandit. The bandit then tried to make excuses which Shanks replied as a snarky comment. The bandit cursed then threw something down, it was a smoke bomb. He suddenly grabbed Luffy and Naruto and tried to make a run for it. Naruto struggles while Luffy decides to bite and punch the bandit. Naruto could hear Shanks' surprised voice and wanted to call out when the bandit covered his mouth. Naruto and Luffy found themselves on a small boat out to sea. The bandit reasoned that no one would look for a bandit at sea. He then picked Luffy up who was screaming and shouting at the bandit. Damn it. Let me go, you stupid ape. I hope you die. Luffy yelled while Naruto tried to undo the ropes that were around him. You wish. You're the one who's gonna die. I can sell the other one, but you pissed me off. So long Gaki. The bandit then threw Luffy off the little boat. Luffy? Naruto screamed, snapping the ropes in the process. He really wished he could water walk right now. Somebody help Naruto. Shanks. Luffy slowly started to drown. The bandit laughed and didn't notice Naruto had left the boat. It was a good thing too, and the Lord of the Coast had appeared. Hold on Luffy, I'm coming. Naruto swam to Luffy and tried to keep his head above the water as he watched the Sea King eat the bandit. Naruto thought he was safe until Kurama started to yell at him. Kid move. The Sea King has spotted you and Luffy. Damn it, what do I do? I can't water walk. Try and keep the little monkey safe, I'll try and use my chakra to scare it away. Naruto. We're gonna be eaten. Luffy started to panic. Naruto was ready to use chakra to give Luffy some time. Just as the Sea King went to bit them, someone grabbed them and moved them out of the way. Blood splattered on Naruto's face. He realized Luffy has calmed down and recognized their savior. Shanks. Luffy's eyes started to tear up again. At last. Shanks commanded and the Sea King seemed to obey. Naruto wasn't sure what caused the blood until Luffy started to cry more. I'm in your debt, Luffy. Makino-san told me everything. You fought for us. Hey, don't cry. You're a man. Naruto smiled slightly until Kurama voiced his concerns. Kid, you need to get the red-haired brat back to the island now. But why? Hit his arm. As Naruto looked he could hear Luffy stutter out words that haunted Naruto. He hadn't realized where the blood came from until now. Naruto was furious with himself for letting something like this happen to Shanks. But Shanks. Your arm. Luffy screamed out and Naruto started to tear up. Gomen Shanks Gomen. Naruto looked in horror as Shanks' arm had been off halfway through his bicep. It's only an arm, it's no big deal. I'm glad you're both alright, Shanks spoke softly with a smile. Naruto took off his jacket and tried to tie it around Shanks' arm, he couldn't lose someone else, not now. It had been a few days since Shanks lost his arm, Naruto had not visited the pirate ship or the bar in that time. He didn't even stay with Luffy, Naruto was having a hard time dealing with what happened to Shanks. Kid, you've been training for 4 days straight now. Go see the red-haired brat now. No. Why not? Naruto ignored Kurama to the best of his abilities, he wasn't alone for some time. In his exhausted state, he didn't realize he was being watched. It was then Kurama had enough, he puffed in big and growled at Naruto. Stop being a brat and go to them. Kurama told Naruto, who was ignoring him. Kid. Go. See. Him. Kurama said with more force, he looked into the forest and saw the first mate Ben, Makino, Luffy, and most of all, Shanks. Kurama was cut off by Naruto screaming at him. Shut up. Shanks got hurt because I couldn't water walk. Luffy was hurt and is still terribly upset. All I did was stand there and watch. I'm useless. I should have done better. Naruto then started to train again with Kurama glaring at him. Do you want to have this discussion again? It's okay. Yes, he got hurt, but he's not dead. Why are you acting like oh kid he's fine? That's not gonna happen too. Kurama realized why Naruto hadn't gone to see Shanks or Luffy. You don't know that. Hokage, Iro Sennin, Kakashi Sensei, Iruka Sensei, Konohamaru, and the Rookie 12. Everyone I get close to gets hurt. You were almost taken away from me by Madara. How many people died in the 4th Ninja War? I'm sick of feeling useless and making people sacrifice themselves for me. Tusan and Kasan are dead. I only got to meet them once, I'll never have parents. I'm the orphan, dead last, demon brat. That's all I'll ever be. Naruto screamed at Kurama. He was tired of it, Naruto was tired of losing people he cared about. Tired of the way his life was, it was like reverse karma. Kid, you need to stop thinking like that. None of this was your fault, what happened was an accident. You need to stop dwelling on the past. Kurama watched as Naruto started to cry, he then moved to curl around his kid. It's so hard, Kurama. I don't know what to do anymore, Naruto cried into Kurama's fur. The onlookers weren't sure what to do, Shanks and Makino had already met Kurama, but this was different. Shanks took a deep breath and walked over to Naruto, who was unaware of his presence. Kurama watched him, daring him to say something that would hurt his kid. Shanks just smiled and sat close to Naruto and placed his remaining hand on Naruto's head. Naruto flinched, he hadn't felt anyone other than Kurama. So, he turned around to see Shanks smiling at him, Naruto couldn't stop the tears from falling. It's okay kid, you helped Luffy. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, let us help you. The furball is right, it's okay. I'd gladly lose my arm to save you and Luffy, because losing you two would hurt more than losing this arm would. Shanks sat there while Naruto cried into his chest. While Naruto was crying, Kurama shrunk to the size of a cat. Luffy made his way over and sat next to the only friend he has. It's okay, we're not gonna die that easily. Right, Shanks. Luffy said that with confidence, as Makino sat close to them, she smiled. Naruto just stayed where he was and cried, it wasn't sadness now but tears of joy. He finally felt like he belonged somewhere, and though Naruto missed Konoha, he felt better here. Arigato, Mina, Naruto said, looking at them. Naruto and Luffy were standing on the docks, watching Shanks' crew put the supplies on board the ship. Mayor Woodslap was surprised to hear that this was their last trip to the island and that they are going to the Grand Line. You're really not coming back to this village? Mayor asked, surprised. That's right. We've been here too long already, thanks for everything, Shanks said with a smile, while Makino was watching Luffy. You're upset, aren't you, Luffy? Makino knew how hard it was for Luffy and Naruto to see Shanks go. Yeah, but I won't ask you to take me along anymore. I will become a pirate with my worn strength, Luffy said, smiling back at Shanks. Bleh, I wouldn't take you even if you begged. You don't have what it takes to be a pirate, Naruto shook his head, he was teasing Luffy again. Yes, I do. I'll gather my own crew that will beat yours and find the world's greatest treasure. No matter what, I will become the Pirate King. Luffy shouted back at Shanks, who seemed surprised. Oh, you're going to surpass us, huh? Shanks said back, moving closer to Luffy, only to bend down and put his straw hat on Luffy's head. In that case I leave this hat with you, it's especially important to me. Give it back to me someday, when you've become a great pirate. Luffy started to cry when Shanks let go. Boy, Shanks. Don't die a stupid death. Naruto shouted to Shanks as he got onto his ship. Look after Luffy for me, and take care of yourself, Naruto. Shanks shouted back, with Ben nodding his head to Naruto. What if Naruto controls the ocean? One Piece Sasuke bashing. And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.